Honourable members, we'll now go to Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration, and we'll just give the Minister and her team to assemble. Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration. And for members, we will be in the recurrent expenditure booklet, and we will be going to page 217. Page 217 of the recurrent expenditure booklet when we get there. Minister, you ready with us? Nice. Welcome, Madam Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Chair.
Permanent Secretary, and also to the senior executives from the Ministry of Public Administration. Welcome to the Parliament Chamber. Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration. Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration, $1,207,203,293. I will now invite the Minister of Public Administration to make a brief opening statement, not exceeding 5 minutes. Madam Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Chair. The Ministry of Public Admin, in keeping with its mandate for national information and communication technology, will, in fiscal 2020, be advancing the usage of available ICTs within the national community, particularly so within government. The digitization of government operations and services promises to serve as a catalyst for realizing the development goals and objectives as presented in the National Development Plan, Vision 2030, a vehicle for significantly enhancing the operational effectiveness of systems and processes within ministries, departments, and agencies, and a mechanism for improving the ease of doing business with government for citizens, businesses, and other groups and stakeholders. National ITC is aligned with the strategic theme 3 of Vision 2030, improving productivity through quality infrastructure. And the Ministry's work here is guided by the Cabinet-approved 3rd National ICT Plan for the period 2018 to 2022, branded ICT Blueprint. The plan outlines the strategies for improving connectivity, increasing our ICT human capital, use of ICT to transform the delivery of public goods and services and strengthen service delivery, fostering economic development, and positively impacting our environment. The Ministry provides ICT training, computers, and a Wi-Fi pavilion via 5 operational access centers in Kumano, Guayagari, Marak, Pinal, and effective May 2019, Todds Road. Operational expenditure for these centers are reflected under Goods and Services 003 National ICT. Also within the National ICT component is the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, which regulates the telecommunications and broadcasting sectors. I note here that TAT is a net earner of revenue for the state and contributor to the Consolidated Fund. A portion of its revenue is used to offset its operational cost, and therefore there is no subvention under Head 31. The government's ICT execution agency is iGovTT, which manages the government's IT network, GovNet, which connects government ministries and departments and provides shared software for their use. iGovTT is also responsible for the TT Connect suite of services, which thousands of citizens access via the website and portal, kiosk centers, hotline, and buses from early this year, GovChat. The 2020 estimates reflect subventions for both the operations of iGovTT and TT Connect. Over $150 million of the Ministry's allocation for fiscal 2020 is dedicated to the National ICT Thrust of the Ministry and covers, among various items, payment for software and with international suppliers, operational costs relating to government's ICT network, and implementation of e-government services. Public service modernization. There are 4 technical divisions that are at the forefront of the Ministry's Public Service Modernization Thrust, the Public Management Consulting Division, the Public Service Academy, the Modernization and Service Improvement Division, and the Property and Real Estate Services Division. These divisions work with all ministries and departments of the public service in alignment with and in pursuance of the Vision 2030 strategic theme, good governance and service excellence. Together, these divisions provide government ministries, departments, and agencies with a holistic suite of services to improve their institutional capacity to better deliver to citizens and achieve better value for money. Major recurrent expenditure is allocated for payments related to the International Waterfront Complex and the Government Campus Plaza, and for the maintenance of several state-owned properties. Members will note that the total allocation to the ministry increased from $639 million to $1.113 billion, an increase of approximately $553 million. The major contributor to this increase is $440 million in 5 different payments in respect of the Government Campus Plaza. Mr. Chair, Mr. Deputy Chair, in closing, both arms of the ministry are complementary. We work to build a digital economy through the National ICT arm, and we work to build a digital government through the Public Service Modernization arm. We stand ready to respond to all questions, Mr. Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Madam Minister. I must say you stuck close to your 5 minutes. All right. Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $1,207,203,293 for Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration, stand part of the schedule. Honorable members, the sum of $1,207,203,293 for Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads, and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. The draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly, and the draft estimates of the development program. We shall now proceed to consider the draft estimates of the recurrent expenditure. Subhead 01, Personal Expenditure, page 217 of the recurrent expenditure booklet. I recognize the member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister, with regards to line item 01, salaries and cost of living allowance, I note the increase of $1,250,000. Last year, the Standing Finance Committee, your predecessor, indicated that there were 97 vacancies in the establishment of the Ministry of Public Administration. Can you indicate how many of these vacancies would have been filled during the past year, and how many are expected to be filled in the coming year?
Yes, Deputy Vice Chair. Of the 110 positions on the establishment, 39 are filled posts. There are 48 vacant posts with bodies and 23 vacant posts without bodies.
Thank you.
Item 004, Government Printry, page 217. Item 005, Property and Real Estate Management Services, page 218. Member for Fyzabad.
Minister, with regards to 01, salaries and cost of living allowance, I know there's a decrease of $269,000, but there were some vacancies that was noted by your predecessor again to the Standing Finance Committee last year. Can you indicate how this decreased allowance of $269,000 will affect the services provided by the Presidency?
Madam Minister.
Yes, Deputy. We have 21 posts in the establishment, 6 are filled. There are 5 vacant posts with no bodies. We do not expect any appointments or promotions in this financial year, and so the amount that has been allocated we see as adequate.
Are you satisfied that the staff complement at Presidency, in view of its important role, is sufficient to carry out the mandate of that department.
It is an important role, I agree with you, but we are working with the staff complement we have and in trying to increase the efficiency. One of the ways we have done that is to computerize the records of the division so that we can more efficiently manage the property that the government owns.
You okay, member?
Yes.
Item 006, Public Management Consultant Division, page 218. Member for Fyzabad.
Similar question here, Minister, with regards to salaries and cost of living allowance, and I note the increase of 1.2 million. Can you indicate how many positions you expect to fill again from what you indicate an important division?
Number of established posts 72, number of filled posts 14, number of vacant posts with bodies 13, number of vacant posts without bodies 19.
Item 007, Public Service Academy, page 219. Item 008, National Archives, page 219. Item 013, Information Division, page 220. Item 015, Strategic Services Division, page 220. We now go to subhead 02, Goods and Services, page 221. Item 001, General Administration, pages 221 to 222. I recognize member for Tabakit.
Thank you. Madam Minister, item number 808, rent, lease, office accommodation and storage. You're paying $2 million a month for rent and office accommodation and storage. How much of this is really for storage and how much of this is for accommodation? And why you know, is the ministry paying this amount of money every month for this?
Minister.
Yes,
What is the real need for this?
Yes, Deputy Vice Chair. We have a biannual loan payment for Nallis Building, so that is not rental. But we do rent building on Mary Street and Park Plaza, and there is some of the funds in here are allocated in respect of arrears. So the majority of the payment relates to the loan payment for the Nallis Building.
And Mary Street, what is that building used for?
That is where Presley is located, is that right? CTU.
Number 16? Yeah. Contract employment. You just spoke about a number of vacancies and so on and so forth. Is that the reason why you are using so much contract employment? Although I see in 2019, it went down from what you allocated from 12.3 to 8.5. Is 8.591 the correct figure, or are there outstanding amounts for contract employment that you have to add to that?
8.591 was the revised allocation. Our allocation for 2019, our allocation for 2020 is 9.375.
9 million is not significant? 9 million to a taxpayer is not significant, Minister.
Minister of Finance, you entertain the...
Come on. Every dollar is significant.
We're on page 221,
Everything is relative.
and we're on recurrent expenditure.
Minister is being facetious at times. 9 million.
No,
in
I
a-
am, I am not taking that from the other side.
members-
Stop saying
members.
these things. You're too insulting.
Okay, Minister of Finance. Again,
And you're
member for
very
Tabakit.
accommodating, eh?
Member for Tabakit, please.
What line?
No, but
Minister of
I am
Finance,
serious.
on both sides.
What
A minister is saying that $9 million
Various-
is not significant.
Again, but that does not give you the
001,
permission
item
to
16.
use the various adjectives that are being
It doesn't
put on
give
the
him the
table.
permission also.
I mean, no, but he has answered the question.
Mr. Chairman,
You know, when we
That's-
answer,
no.
Are we on line item?
In all fairness, member.
you all
Right.
don't hear. But you don't
Okay.
hear what happens
All
on the...
right, 1 second. So we are on line item 16, contract employment. The significance in increase.
is that it is not a $9 million increase. That is a fiction on the part of the member for Tabakit. It's an increase of $783,000, which is less than 10%.
But you're
of the
spending
entire
$9 million
allocation.
in contract employment.
You said
I'm
it was
saying,
a
One at a
$9
time.
million
How is-
difference.
One at a time.
how is this justified?
Chairman,
Okay, one
and Mr. Chairman, The allocation for 2019 original was $12.3 million. And therefore, the 2020 at 9.3 is $3 million less than the original allocation for 2019. So everything the members put into the system is wrong. You're just playing for the camera.
No,
When the
member-
lady in
member-
Palo couldn't put food on the table for 2
Member,
years,
okay, right. Tabakit, I'd like to move on now. Fyzabad, you have a question?
Yes, Madam
Proceed.
Minister, if I can just remain on the same line item 16.
Same 16
Same
contract
16,
employment.
yeah.
Proceed.
Can you indicate the number of persons on contract employment to the ministry?
Minister of Finance, you with us? Minister of Public Admin, you with us? Right,
Yes,
proceed,
yes.
proceed.
Number of positions, 135, number of positions filled, 39, number of positions vacant, 96.
How many do you expect to fill in this?
We are hoping to fill, I can't tell you the number, but we are looking to increase it closer to the target, and this is why we requested and got an increase in the allocation for this year.
Yeah. Minister, is any thinking, any move towards decreasing contract employment in the Ministry of Public Administration with regards to?
We fill the gap with contract employment when we cannot get permanent positions filled. So that, and in addition to that, the ministry, as part of its overall review of the public service, is looking at its own structure to determine what is the optimal structure going forward. So until we make a decision on that, we will maintain the structure as is, and we will continue to rely to some extent on contract employment.
Thank you. Item 34, Madam Minister. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
University Graduate
University
Recruitment
Graduate
Program.
Recruitment Program. I'm happy to see this back on the books. Can you indicate, Minister, whether you've identified any particular areas in your ministry that will be of benefit where you can seek graduates?
The areas that I would like to focus on under this item would be in the ICT space. IGovTT recently held a hackathon involving the tertiary educations, and we have identified some talent. It would be nice to bring them on board once the process behind who we hire and how we hire them is sorted out. So that would be the focus of the ministry.
Can you say how many bodies you expect to bring on board?
No, we haven't. Until we get clear guidance on how we move forward with this program, we haven't narrowed that down yet.
Sure, thank you.
Item 003, National Information and Communication Technology Center, ICT Secretariat, page 222.
Yes, Chair.
Member for Caroni East.
Honorable Minister, line item 23. Would you be kind enough to indicate what's the $62 million for fees? Fees for what and to whom?
Minister?
The fees under line 23 include Government Interoperability Solution Phase 2 through an MOU with Estonia. It is a suite of software payments by and large that we pay for. So we have the web presence, where the fee for that is $20 million, support for the current government enterprise-wide portal, which is $3 million, estimated ramped annual support and license fees $30.6 million, GOT endpoint security, which is $400 million,
400.
Oracle,
400.
4 million, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
4 million. Oracle annual software, there are 3 contracts under that. So that would represent
So
the
these are contracted services with various,
mainly licenses and some services in respect of ICT
okay.
for government support for the entire GOT
Caroni
platform.
East, you again?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How is
Proceed.
that different? Well, the 28, what is the other contracted services for?
In
The other
28,
contracted
line item
services, line item 28,
28,
which is $95 million for 2020.
that would be monthly payments to TSTT and Fujitsu. Cost, $7.9 million. We also had the initial acquisition and monthly common service operations and support, including data center hosting and other related services.
All right.
You okay, member?
Yeah, sure.
Right, I move now to member for Fyzabad. Asked and answered. So we're moving on. Item 004, Government Printery, page 223. Item 005, Property and Real Estate Management Services, page 223 and page 224. Item, member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Minister, line item 08, rent lease, office accommodation and storage. Yes, 005, yes. Can you indicate whether part of that, one of the buildings rented would be the building at 13 to 15 St. Clair Avenue, Office of the Prime Minister? Is that one of the rentals?
Minister?
The Office of the Prime Minister, I believe I saw a reference to a loan for payment for that building. I don't know if it's the outfitting of that building. The buildings I have here that's covered by this line would be the CIC building where Presby is housed, the International Waterfront Project, Ministry of Education Tower, OPM building on St. Clair. So yes, it includes that. Trinidad Crescent Federation Park.
Okay, in view of the recent move of the Prime Minister to the new building, is this building still going to be engaged by the Ministry of Public Administration?
That is my understanding, yes.
And for what purpose?
There are other departments in the ministry that will continue to reside or move into that building because some of the units in the ministry were housed in the at the waterfront, and they will move to the building in St. Clair.
Sure, thank you.
Carney Central?
Yeah, we on National Information and Communication Technology, that's right? Chair?
We passed that really, you know?
You
member?
passed that?
Yeah, we passed that.
All right.
Let me hear you, member. Proceed. Proceed, proceed. Proceed. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was going to ask a general question, Minister, and you can choose to answer it or
Under
not.
which item?
Item 003, National
003.
Information and Communication Technology Center, ICT Secretariat. Go ahead.
When you closed your initial presentation, you talked about digitizing the public service, and you also talked about through the
Access centers.
huh?
The access centers.
Yes, you also talked about digitizing basically the economy. I think you referred to that. And one of the things about the last Auditor General's report is that they indicated that the Public Administration Ministry and Planning, which were collaborating to coordinate this, was pretty weak in terms of what it had been able to achieve. Have you been able to make progress towards the goal that you have, which is digitization?
We have made progress. We have identified service providers, and we do have a plan to ramp up activities during this financial year, which is why the allocation has been adjusted, especially under PSIP, to treat with that.
Okay.
Following up on that, Minister.
No, remember, no, I just give Carney Central the opportunity to go back there. You know what I mean? I want to continue. Proceed, member.
I just want to ask.
Okay, proceed.
Bo, you finished?
Proceed, yeah.
All right. The Minister, would that be the the technology to do the entire public service in terms of a digital representation of the public service?
Minister.
We will not be able to convert the entire public service within the space of the next year, so we are prioritizing ministries. So you would already have heard of projects started at the Attorney General's office, at the Ministry of Works, and in Ministry of Health. And we also, Ministry of Agriculture as well, and we also targeting some of the divisions under Ministry of Finance.
Is it any consideration for the Ministry of Education, which has about 15,000 employees?
The Ministry of Education does have its own program, yes, because we are moving towards preparing the ministry and its stakeholders for e-exams in the not-too-distant future. So there are programs involving the Ministry of Education.
No, but for the digitization of the
Last point, member.
Yes, that is part of it, yes.
Right. We now go back to item 006, Public Management Consultant Division, pages 224 and 225. Member for Fyzabad.
Chairman, sorry. Line 21. Good. 005 went from page 223 to 224. So we're on page 224, line 21, repairs and maintenance buildings, if I may ask a question. Yeah.
No, you're sending me back again there, member. I did it on 2 occasions. I need to move on. We passed it already. Yes, we did.
Good.
No,
Chairman.
no,
Okay.
we passed it already, member. Right. Okay, Minister of Finance, fine. Item 007, Public Service Academy, page 225. This is where we are, members. Item 007, Public Service Academy, page 225. We now move on to item, okay, member for Fyzabad.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister Public Service Academy, with the item regarding training. Now, I noted that, again, in a submission to this committee last year, a list was provided of almost 125 training programs for 2019. Can you indicate how many persons would have benefited from that training?
Minister?
In 2019, officers trained 1,575, courses completed 88, courses planned 105, completion 84%.
All right, and I see you have an increased allocation for 2020. Can you give me comparable figures expected for 2020?
For 2019-2020, the courses planned 118, officers to be trained 2,596.
Okay. Item 008, National Archives, page 226. Item 009, Public Service Transformation Division, page 226. Item 012, Freedom and Information Unit, page 227. Item 013, Information Division, page 227. Item 015, Strategic Services Division, page 228. Item 018, Strategic Human Resource and Management Division, page 228. Item 019, Diamond Division, page 228. Item 020, Modernization. Member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Minister, with regards to line item 16, contract employment, in your opening presentation, you indicated that the modernization and service improvement was very important. Can you indicate the $4 million that is allocated there? How far will that take you in terms of this process?
We do have a plan to complete the initial stage of this project in 2020, and so we are pushing ahead with that. Of the 35, we do have some vacant positions, and we are hoping to fill some of those to assist us in completing that process, which is one of the reasons why we have an increase in the allocation.
Thank you.
Item 019, Diamond Division, page 228. Item 020, Modernization and Service Improvement, page 228. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases, page 229. Item 001, General Administration, page 229. Item 003, National Information and Communication Technology, page 229. Item 005, Property and Real Estate Management Services, page 229. Item 007, Public Service Academy, page 229. Item 015, Strategic Services Division, page 230. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies, page 230. Item 001, Regional Bodies, item 230. Item 002, Commonwealth Bodies, page 230. Item 003, United Nations Organizations, page 231. Item 004, International Bodies, page 231. Item 007, Households, page 231. Item 009, Other Transfers, 231, and I recognize the member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Minister, the line item 01, TT Connect Service Centers. Can you indicate how many new centers you'll be rolling out in 2019?
Madam Minister.
2020?
Mr. Deputy Chair, we are still finalizing our plans for that. What we are doing is changing the infrastructure to make it more efficient so that we can build out more centers at a cheaper cost. So when we come to a final determination as to what the revised cost will be, we will be better able to do that. At the moment, we have equipment in hand to complete 2 new centers, and thereafter we will determine how many more we can. But what we are trying to do is at least complete the mandate, the original mandate, to complete 20 centers by the end of this administration's term.
Would you be able to provide the locations in writing?
Once those are determined,
Once that be
they're not yet
determined.
determined.
Thank you.
Right. Item 011, Transfers to State Enterprises, page 232. Members, we now move on to the other book, Statutory Boards and Similar Bodies, and we're going to subhead 06, Current Transfers to Statutory Boards and Similar Bodies, and we're on page 183. Page 183. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly. 03, Trinidad and Tobago Telecommunications Authority, subhead 01, Personal Expenditure, page 183. Item 001, General Administration, page 183. Subhead 02, Goods and Services, page 183. Item 001, General Administration, page 183. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases, page 184. Members, you all are with me here? Item 001, General Administration, page 184. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies, page 184. Item 007, Households, page 184. Item 009, Other Transfers, page 184. Different Book Development Program, and we're going to page 81. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program. Subhead 09, Development Program, Consolidated Fund, page 81. Item 005, Multi-Sectoral and Other Services, page 82. Infrastructure Development Fund, page 193. Item 005, Multi-Sectoral and Other Services, page 183. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $1,207,203,293 for Head 31, Public Administration, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. the sum of $1,207,203,293 for Head 31, Ministry of Public Administration, now stands part of the schedule. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Mr. PS, and also to the senior technocrats from the Ministry of Public Administration. Thank you for coming. Head 06 Service Commissions. You with us, Madam Public Admin? You'll hand it, Minister of Finance, okay. So members, we had Head 06 Service Commissions. Welcome again to you, Madam Minister, and also the okay, Madam Minister. Head 06 Service Commissions. Head 06 Service Commissions, $80,944,300. I will now invite the Minister of Public Administration to make a brief opening statement not exceeding 5 minutes. But before you move on, I'd just like to mention the Director of Public Administration. Director of Personnel Administration. Thank you for coming, and your senior executives from the Service Commission.
Thank you, Mr.
Proceed,
Deputy
Madam
Chair.
Minister.
The primary function of the Service Commissions Department is to provide support services to enable 4 service commissions: the Public Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, and the Police Service Commission to discharge their constitutional responsibilities of staffing and the exercise of disciplinary control over the respective services. The role and function of the Public Service Commission, Teaching Service Commission, and the JLSC, which are enshrined in the Constitution, are to appoint persons to hold or to act in public offices, make appointments on promotion, transfer, confirm appointments, remove, exercise disciplinary control, and enforce standards of conduct. The role and function of the Police Service Commission are to recruit the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Police, to monitor the efficiency and effectiveness of the functions of the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Police, to prepare an annual performance appraisal report in such form as may be prescribed by the Commissioner for the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioner of Police, monitor the efficiency and effectiveness of the functions of the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Police. In considering matters falling within its purview, each service commission is guided by the principles, procedures, and rules set out in its regulations, various service acts, and policies handed down from time to time. The Service Commissions Department is mandated to assist the Service Commissions in fostering a positive discipline among public officers and ensuring that appropriate procedures are applied where there are breaches of the various codes of conduct, ensure the recruitment of the best possible candidates for appointment to entry-level offices in the various services in keeping with the principles, procedures, and policies laid down by the respective service commissions, and ensure that the human resource needs at the highest levels of the services and the legitimate career goals and expectations of officers are satisfied. It is noteworthy that upon the approval and implementation of the recommendations of the concluded institutional strengthening exercise, the Service Commissions Department hopes to evolve into a future state that will enhance the provision of improved technical support, predominantly providing improved oversight and monitoring of ministries, departments, and government agencies. I thank you, Mr. Deputy Chair. Stand ready to answer the questions.
Thank you, Madam Minister. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $80,944,300 $944,300 for Head 06 Service Commissions stand part of the schedule. Honorable members, the sum of $80,944,300 for Head 06 Service Commissions is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads, and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of the development program. We now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. So we are in recurrent expenditure booklet and on page 34. Page 34, subhead 01, personal expenditure, page 34, item 001, general administration, page 34, and I recognize the member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Minister, with regards to line item 01, salaries and cost of living allowance, and the expenditure of $33,400,000, can you indicate how many vacant posts there are at the service commissions at this time?
Madam Minister.
Number of permanent officers, 159. Number of vacant posts, 191. Number of vacant posts with bodies, 163. Number of vacant posts without bodies, 28.
Any indication of how many the allowance is intended to fill in this financial year?
Minister.
There are 20 vacant posts that we are proposing to fill in fiscal 2020.
Member for Couva South.
Minister, good day. If I could, good evening. If I could recollect, you just told my colleague from Fyzabad that there were 191 vacant posts. And I listened to the Minister of Finance very attentively during the Standing Finance Committee as it relates to filling of vacancies and the responsibilities of the Service Commission and so on. Any reason why only 20 posts are being filled?
I did say that of the 191 vacant posts, the number of vacant posts with bodies were 163. So there are people in most of the posts. There are only 28 that have no bodies in them.
Okay, so they are acting, the ones.
There are vacant posts, either contract or temporary
Okay.
persons.
Thank you very much.
To point out to
Minister
the
of
member
Finance.
the irony of vacant posts in the Service Commission, since the Commission is responsible for filling the posts. It's a bit ironical,
Could I say something?
Minister, sorry, Caroni Central.
Yes, I want to say that I do agree with the Minister of Finance on that. And the other thing too is the number of acting posts within the commissions themselves.
Point taken. Fyzabad.
Minister, can we get an indication of what might be the causal factors in terms of not being able to fill these posts by the Service Commission itself? What are the challenges that they face?
Madam Minister.
Member, through you, Mr. Deputy Chair, the Service Commission is making an attempt to fill its positions. It has competing challenges that it's dealing with, but the process that they have implemented of moving to an ICT platform should help them to address some of those challenges, and hopefully in the not-too-distant future we will see a more effective operation in terms of filling posts internally and thereafter externally.
So is it a problem with process or is it personnel?
It's a
Not being
combination. It's a
available.
combination of process and personnel, because you would recognize that in the absence of long-term employed people, the challenge of fixing that becomes more difficult, so that it is a combination of the two.
Thank you.
Subhead 02, Goods and Services, page 34. Item 001, General Administration, pages 34 and 35. Member for Couva South.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Minister, just to provide us what has accounted for the increase of 1.9, approximately
Just
1.9
give me the
million.
line item, just for the records.
43, security services.
At the moment, the division is renegotiating its security contracts. It anticipates an increase in the cost, and therefore they have catered for that in the allocation.
Just let me assist the minister. We share
Minister of
responsibility
Finance.
for this area. The notes I have is that it results it is as a result of the department's relocation to larger, more suitable accommodation. So there will be an increased requirement. for
Complement.
security.
Increase.
Larger, more suitable accommodation. So there would be an increase in their security needs.
Okay.
Okay?
Item 002, Tobago Services, page 36. Item 003, Public Service Commission, page 36. Item 004, Teaching Service Commission, page 36. Item 005, Judicial and Legal Service Commission, page 37. Item 006, Police Service Commission, page 37. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases, page 38. Item 001, General Administration, page 38. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies, page 38. Item 007, Households, page 38. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program. Different book, development program, page 9. Subhead 09, Development Program, Consolidated Fund, page 9. Item 005, Multi-sectoral and Other Services, page 9. I recognize the member for Fyzabad.
Madam Minister, can you give us an update with regards to the implementation of the electronic document management system as to where we are with this process?
Madam Minister.
We have successfully closed off the evaluation activity. The award and execution of the contract is done. Not quite yet, it's about to be done. And then we will engage the vendor to commence system design. We are proposing to commence the pilot project in the first quarter of fiscal 2019-20.
Chairman, I just want to correct something that I just said.
Minister of Finance.
Yeah, the increased provision for security is in fact a new contract, not movement to another
Okay.
building.
Noted.
It's a new contractual arrangement.
Member for Oropuch West.
Just want
Yes.
to piggyback on 006. When we do this electronic document management system, would it be more efficient now so you could, the Service Commission now could fill vacant posts throughout the various ministries?
That's the plan, yes.
Okay.
I'll now come back.
We have some
Okay.
posts like 10 years and 12 years waiting to be filled. Ministry of Agriculture and so,
Yeah,
you know?
both the filling of posts and the collation of records for various purposes will be more efficient under the new system that we're proposing to put in.
Okay.
Minister of Fyzabad. Member for Fyzabad.
Minister, can you indicate what would be the total cost to develop this program?
Teachers.
Are you in a position to give us a figure
Minister?
for that?
I remind that was not done.
Estimated cost is $25,708,650.
Can you say how much has been spent so far?
Well, we have just got to the identifying of the service provider. We're now about to contract him, so not much from this fund has been spent.
Okay.
So the main expenditure will start in 2020.
Oropuch West, your mic is on? Okay, thanks. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $80,944,300 for Head 06 Service Commissions stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $80,944,300 $944,300 for Head 06 Service Commissions now stands part of the schedule. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Director of Personnel Administration, and also to the senior technocrats from your commission. Thank you. Head 17, Personnel Department. Chief Personnel Officer. Okay. I'd like to welcome the Chief Personnel Officer. Welcome to the Parliament Chamber and also to your senior executives from your division. Head 17, Personnel Department. Head 17, Personnel Department, $68,172,630. I will now invite the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Public Administration, to make a brief opening statement, not exceeding 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Chair. The Personnel Department is the department of government charged with the responsibility for determining and/or advising on pay and other terms and conditions of service for a wide spectrum of employees within the public sector. It is established by Section 13 of the Civil Service Act of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago and is headed by the Chief Personnel Officer. The department determines through consultation and negotiations with appropriate recognized associations and unions the terms and conditions of service of the following groups of employees: approximately 59,000 monthly paid officers in the civil, teaching, police, fire and prison services, approximately 4,000 monthly paid officers employed in the statutory authorities subject to the Statutory Authorities Act, approximately 26,000 daily rated workers employed in government ministries and departments and municipal corporations, and approximately 48 monthly paid and daily rated employees of the Sugarcane Feed Centre. The department also advises, makes recommendations on the terms and conditions of service of the following groups of office holders and employees: holders of offices within the purview of the Salaries Review Commission, employees of those statutory boards and state enterprises which receive guidelines for negotiations from the Human Resource Advisory Committee responsible for monitoring wage and salary negotiations in the public sector, members of the Defence Force, and persons employed on contract in ministries and departments. The specific duties of the department are as follows: maintaining the classification of offices in the civil service, reviewing the remuneration payable to civil servants, administering the general regulations governing the civil service, and establishing procedures for consultation and negotiation with an appropriate recognized association in respect of classification of officers, grievances, remuneration, and terms and conditions. In view of the far-reaching financial implications of many of the negotiations which the Personnel Department conducts, the Acts governing the public service provide for the Department to be subject to the direction of the Minister of Finance in respect of all its negotiations with appropriate recognized associations and unions. Mr. Deputy Chair, I will end there and I will wait on questions.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Minister. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $68,172,630 for Head 17, Personnel Department, stand part of the schedule. Honourable members, the sum of $68,172,630 for Head 17, Personnel Department, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads: and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of the development program. We now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, and we are on page 76, members. Subhead 01, personal expenditure, page 76. Member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister, I will link this question to 01, salaries and cost of living allowance. In a response to the Parliament, based on a question from the committee last year, we are told that the staff establishment of the Personnel Department comprises 186 positions, of which 111 positions are vacant. So, two questions. Can we now confirm how many vacancies there are in the Personnel Department? And in view of the increase of 2,580,000, how many are expected to be filled? How many of those positions are expected to be filled in this financial year?
There are a total of 187 positions, 63 are filled and 124 are vacant. Provision is being made for the filling of vacant positions in the Human Resource Advisory Stream and other vacancies to be filled by the Service Commissions Department. In terms of a number, do we have that? Of positions to be filled? We are aiming for this guy in hoping to fill the 124, and we will see where we can get in the shortest possible time in terms of achieving that target.
Couva South, we are on item 001, General Administration, page 76. Okay, we move on. Subhead 02, Goods and Services, page 76. Item 001, General Administration, pages 76 and 77. Subhead, Couva South.
And services, Chairman.
Goods and Services, item 001, General Administration, page 76 and 77.
Okay. Minister, could you just guide us as it relates to 16 contract employment? Who or what you are trying to address in terms of complement of persons and so on with this additional $1.8 million?
Madam Minister.
Mr. Deputy Chair, we have 23 positions filled and 35 vacant. So we are seeking to fill as many of those vacant positions as we can.
These are people who are bringing on to help or assist the CPO with negotiations and so on?
To help the CPO with its various functions.
Just add some additional information.
Minister of Finance.
These positions were approved by Cabinet and the areas of information technology, legal services, corporate communications, human resource management, change management, and public procurement. Okay?
Fine, thank you there.
And I think I got it right this time.
Thank you, Minister of Finance. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases, page 78.
I wanted to ask
Another question on the goods and services.
Other contracted services.
All right, proceed.
The increased expenditure of $5.9 million will be for the engagement of what?
We're
Page
looking
77.
at the UNIMED with health plan. Okay, that is what we are looking at in the Ministry of Finance, and public admin would have some other agreements that they are looking at. Okay, so it's evaluation.
Or the job evaluation exercises?
No, that's different.
Okay.
That's,
NDDP?
yeah, that's different.
Subhead,
Something about internet service provider.
Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases, page 78. Item 001, General Administration, page 78. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies, page 78. Item 001, Regional Bodies, page 78. Item 004, International Bodies, page 78. Item 007, Households, page 79. Point up here. Okay. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program, different book, and we're on page 45. Page 45, development program. Subhead 09, development program, consolidated fund, page 45. Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services, page 45. Member for Fyzabad.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, with regards to line item 034, conduct of a job evaluation and classification exercise in respect of the prison services of Trinidad and Tobago, can you give us a status update on this project?
Minister.
Through you, Mr. Deputy Chair, this project is hinged on the restructuring being done by National Security, so we're waiting on them to finish that exercise, after which we will commence our exercise.
All right. 036, the job evaluation and compensation exercise for the civil service. I see an allocation of 5 million for 2020.
Yes, I can talk to that. That has been on its way for quite a long time. There have been a lot of problems with respect to this project, but we finally got to a point where we can engage a consultant, and that is why we have an allocation of 5 million in here.
For a consultant.
Yeah.
I recognize the member for Couva South.
Minister, in both 034 and 036, you indicated in relation to 034, the Ministry of National Security is currently engaged in a restructuring exercise. Have you reached a stage of a memorandum of understanding or agreement being signed with the Prison Officers Association as it relates to 034?
Let me come in here. That is not relevant to this line item at all, and you know that.
Mr. Minister, if you are
has-
engaging in a
this-
job evaluation
this line
exercise
item has
and you have a
nothing to do
recognized
with
majority
a collective
union,
agreement.
Members,
Nothing.
Members.
You know that.
I know what I am saying.
This
Members,
has nothing
You
to
was
do
a
with that.
part-time trade unionist.
You are playing to the gallery.
I am not playing
This
to the
has nothing
gallery.
to do
I
with
am
that.
trying to find out in the interest of the prison officers.
As I said in my budget address, we intend to authorize the Chief Personnel Officer to make an offer to all categories of public officers in fiscal 2020.
This has nothing to
nothing-
do. This
what
has
you are
nothing
talking
to
about
do with collective
Okay.
bargaining.
Right.
This has nothing
Okay.
to do with what you are
Minister,
talking
this
Minister
has
of
to do
Finance and
with
member for Couva
agreement.
South. Okay?
Evaluation exercise, and that is all I am trying to find out. This has nothing to do with collective bargaining.
So could you, now that you've changed your question, could you rephrase it, please?
But you are
Now that you've
amazing.
changed your question.
You are amazing individual.
You are changing as you get,
Member
as
for
your,
Couva South.
as
Let's
your statements get refuted, you're changing.
Okay.
What's your new question?
The
proceed, member.
question, the original question has been, Minister, Minister of Public Administration, with respect to 034, has there been, or is there a memorandum of understanding which has been agreed to between parties as it relates involving the Prison Officers Association as it relates to this job evaluation exercise?
Minister of Public Administration.
Deputy Chair, through you to the member, the CPO has not been engaged in that exercise at all. It is something that is strictly with the Ministry of National Security, so we cannot say what process has been adopted in it.
Okay, thank you very much. And with respect to,
Mr. Chairman, if I may just,
To make more information
give
on
some,
what was
yeah,
just said, go ahead,
clarity.
Minister of.
the ministry, as I understand it, has engaged a consultant to deal with this particular issue in an effort to modernize the prison service and bring the jobs in line with a more modern prison administration.
no problem with that. But the
Okay.
issue is, as you go forward, you still have to get the agreement.
No. Let us not, you know, you and I have quite a good relationship.
We'll always have that relationship.
Yes, yeah, we've developed quite a good relationship of late. Of late.
We're not going into no debate now, Madam, and and
No,
Cougar South.
but I will say that if it's necessary, the relationship can change, if necessary. But right now, we're on good terms.
Let's deal with the facts, please.
So let me, those are the facts, Mr.
So
Chairman.
because of that, you want to board.
But what I want to say is that in an effort
I still
to,
have to be careful, you know. The banter could get out of
in
hand.
an effort to ensure that the prison service meets its new requirements, there's a necessity to re-examine what each job does and what it needs to do in the future. So that is why they're doing this job evaluation exercise.
And that is good. Nobody is against the modernization of the prison service, but as I said, taking into consideration that there is a recognized majority union, and going forward, they will have to sign off on this.
No. I mean, that is understood.
I think that's understood.
That is understood.
That's
And that
understood.
is separate and apart. That's
Tell-
separate and apart.
I'd like to recognize member for
Give the
Fyzabad now.
advice to the Minister of Finance.
Fyzabad,
Thank
member
you,
for
Chairman.
Fyzabad.
Minister,
Minister.
with regards to line item 037, development of a knowledge and information management system. I see we have had some allocations 2018-19, but no allocation in 2020. Can you indicate the status of this project, whether it is completed or it's still ongoing?
The project is
Minister?
completed, but for the inputting of information, which is still ongoing.
Minister, can you indicate what benefits this project would have brought to the public service?
It is intended to make the operation of the CPU more efficient. What we have is the digitization of the CPU's files, which will allow them to more efficiently carry out their functions.
Thank you.
Cougar South.
Chairman, in Amaruka's Maloney's quest to distract me, we lost the answers that relates to 036. With respect to the conduct of the job evaluation and compensation exercise for the civil
Hold on.
service. Minister, you have a time frame when you think that this may be completed?
We expect it to take 24 months, and we are anticipating it will start shortly.
It will start
Minister of
shortly.
Finance.
In addition,
Well, I want to object. He didn't ask that question before.
No,
So we can't lose an
forget the
answer.
objection.
The question was
You
never
want a
asked.
time frame.
no, if the
And
minister,
he got his answer.
if the Minister of Finance was listening, I referred to
No.
036
You never asked that
also.
question. Never.
Mr.
All right. You got
Mr.
your answer,
Chair,
member?
You're playing for the
Further-
cameras.
Next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, proceed.
Further to that, and I'll ask in relation to this particular issue with the civil service too, Minister, have you had a framework agreement with the Public Services Association?
In respect of the job evaluation,
Yes.
not at this point.
Not at this point?
No.
So you don't have a commencement date?
Well, we are waiting on approval to go forward with the contract. As I said earlier, we expect that to happen shortly, and we expect the project to take 2 years. So during the process of that, we will engage with all relevant stakeholders.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $68,172,630 for Head 17 Personnel Department stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $68,172,630 for Head 17 Personnel Department now stands part of the schedule. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Chief Personnel Officer, and the senior executives from the Personnel Department. Do reach safely. Right. Honorable members, we would just now like to suspend Standing Finance Committee for the day, and we will resume tomorrow, Tuesday, the 22nd of October, 2019, at 10 a.m.
Follow the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago